Hey everyone, this is Lisa from Life in Layouts, and today I'm going to be doing a layout using this sketch from Scrapbook Generation. This is probably one of my favorite sketches from them. I also am pulling in pieces from this layout that I found on Pinterest. I didn't have a collection that I was going to be using. I just really wanted to use some blacks, grays, silvers type colors. So I pulled out this black pen stripe and I am following the sketch. The bottom strips are supposed to be 2 1/4 and the top strip is 1 1/4, and then it's also cut at 11 inches. I've done this sketch multiple times and I just love the way that it came out. Now the middle piece is supposed to be 6 inches tall, and there's actually 3 pieces. So you have the 12 inches that are over on the right, but because it's only 11 inches on the right, you cut off 1 inch and you add it to the left hand side of the layout. And then over on the far part, that piece where the hearts are, that's 2 inches. And then in the center, it's supposed to be 8 inches. I went through my white gray paper trying to find a color that would work with it. I ended up using this wood grain, which is actually kind of funny because I end up covering up 90% of it. So you really can't even see it in the final layout. I did cut it a little bit short, so I had to recut it. I'm going to ink all of the edges with black soot, except for the center edges. That way it looks like one continuous layout. And then I'm going to use my T-square ruler, and the ruler is 1 inch wide. I use that as the guide to be able to put all of the pieces down in the same place. So you can see on the right and the left, I just use the width of the T-square ruler to make sure that I have the same width on the top of both sides of the layout. I did also use my corner rounder to round the edges of the black pen stripe, so it gives it a really nice look. Then for the 1/4 inch strip, which the sketch calls for it to be a stripe, I went ahead and just pulled out this white glitter paper, used that as the piece. I first cut it down to 11 inches, but then taking a look at the sketch, I realized that the strip is actually supposed to be 11.5 inches. So once I get it down, I was like, oh yeah, it's supposed to go off the edge. So I had to recut all 4 of those strips. Luckily, I was only cutting 1/4 inch, so I only wasted a 1 inch sheet of paper, especially with that glitter paper. I don't use glitter paper a lot, but I do love the way that glitter paper adds just a touch of something to your layouts. So now it looks more like the sketch where the 1/4 inch strip just is coming off just a little bit onto the background of the paper. And it is tone on tone white, so the white glitter against the white background, but it gives it a little extra accent, and I really like that. So I have these 4 photos of my mom and I when we were on our cruise. This cruise was for her birthday. We definitely went all out for the elegant night, and we wanted to make sure that we also got some really amazing pictures while we were there as well. So we did end up buying several of the photos. I did have to cut down the 3 photos on the left. The sketch only calls for 2 4x4 photos. What I ended up doing was just cutting down the 2 photos of us by ourselves, just enough so that it would fit in that area. And I was just really cutting off, I think maybe 1/4 inch on each side, so not that much. I went ahead and put the photo of the 2 of us up on fun foam and overlapped them. So there's probably maybe 1/2 inch of the photos underneath the photo of ourselves. And I think that it looks really well over there on the left. I pulled out all of my black thickers and I was going through them trying to figure out what I was going to use. I really liked this glittery font, but I didn't have enough to spell out the word elegant. So I went with this black with silver polka dots. And then I did have enough to spell out the word night. So my title is just Elegant Night. Again, I'm not very good with titles. I usually just kind of go with the obvious. But that glitter thickers for the word night looks so pretty against that polka dot of the thickers of the word elegant. This is that fun foam that I was telling you about that is double-sided, and it's a little bit bigger than 4x6. It's really nice, but again, once it is down, it is down. I'm not taking that up. I went through my bling box and I pulled out a bunch of different bling, and I found this really large one, and I was like, you know what? This is the perfect layout for something that large. So I just went with it. What I like to do is I find a piece where I'm going to start, and I cut the backing off from there and put the piece down on the layout, and that helps it stay in place. This one ended up coming off because it was such a large piece, but usually it works really well if you cut off a piece, then pull the backing off from there once you get part of it down. I was going to add this jewel up to the top left, but I realized that my photo was too close to the edge, so I tried to remove it, which you just saw wasn't coming up. So what I ended up doing was taking this jewel and stretching it down the side of the photo. So I'm going to do a lot of MacGyvering with this one and just kind of cutting the pieces. And I'm following into the curve of the jewels that are there. So it goes like in and out next to the photos. And I spend quite a bit of time trying to get all of that down. So let me know in the comments below, when you go on cruises, are you doing the elegant night? Are you getting all dressed up and going around and taking all the photos? Are you purchasing those photos? What are you doing for the elegant night? I've only been on a couple cruises, maybe a handful of them, and I always do them. I feel like that's like the best time to get dressed up and have fun with it. And I just love going around the cruise and looking all pretty around the cruise ship. So after I get the one down on the right hand side, I decided to go ahead and add another one over on the left, and you can see that it does work a little bit better since that one is a little smaller. I just cut the backing off, put that piece down, and then was able to pull the rest of the backing off. Then I pulled out my enamel shape boxes in black. I found this black glittery camera, and I put that right above the jewels on the left. And then I also found some black glittery hearts. Then I had this scrap of silver cardstock. I decided to go ahead and follow the sketch. It calls for 3 banners up at the top. Mine are definitely a lot wider than what the sketch calls for. Mine's ends up being 1.5 inches, and the sketch calls for them to be 1 inch. But I really liked the fatter look of the banners for my particular layout. I do end up putting them all up on Fun Phone, so I just measured one and then laid it on top and measured the others using that same method so that I was able to have the Fun Foam all be the same size and work behind the banner pieces. I did use my T-square ruler to lay out the banner pieces, and then I found another jewel that I'm going to add to the banner piece there. It's going to overlap 2 of them. So I was able to get 4 of those large jewel pieces on this layout, which is like amazing since I have so many of them and I'm trying to get them used up. I feel like I'm adding them into all kinds of layouts. But this one was the one that is perfect for it being all blinged out. I then also added a white heart up at the top, and then I did pull out some silver hearts and added those to each one of the clusters as well. Here is my final layout as well as some close-ups. This video I did a little bit differently. I'm trying to still get my watch hours up, so I left in a lot. Like, I didn't edit a lot of things out. So let me know in the comments below if this is the type of videos that you guys would enjoy seeing. Do you want me to go step by step on each one of the processes? Sometimes I feel like I'm repeating myself because I feel like most of my layouts are very similar to each other. But if you guys are interested in this type of layouts, I will absolutely do them. So let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layout inspiration, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.